Hey, hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Platform, the podcast. Today's guest, we have Mr. Steve Capers, who is a BT, and that stands for Behavioral Technician. A lot of us haven't heard of such, but aside from that, he's a motivational speaker. So we're going to talk about all that stuff, get involved, see exactly what this BT business is all about and motivating people. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy that you're here because a lot of people like myself, I've never really heard the term behavioral technician.
Yes.
And I know you've been in education for over 20 years.
Yes.
About 20 years.
Yes.
Let the people know who Steve Capers is.
So I'm Steve Capers. Like you said, I've been working in education for about 22 years.
Okay.
And I've worked from middle school, elementary, middle school, and now I'm in the high school. And I really enjoy doing it. Behavioral technician, BT for short. And what that consists of is you're working alongside with the teachers and administrators just to help students to basically like redirect them, because you may have, students may have challenges, emotional challenges. And so what we typically do is try to redirect them, help basically like be somewhat as a mentor for some.
Okay.
For some of the students, they look at you as a mentor. Some now at my age, they call me Unc.
Okay.
Or OG, and I kind of like accept that term now, and it comes with a great honor because they don't just randomly call you that.
Right.
Building that respect and that rapport with the student.
Right.
And now it's a lot easier to really redirect them when they look at you in that stature.
Right. Right. So is this regular high school? Is this a transitional high school, or what kind of students do you work with? Are BTs in every high school or what?
So this is transitional special education. It's called ACES.
Okay.
But it's a special education, and some kids, it is transition where they come from their districts into to the school where we are. And also we have some BTs who are in districts. So what that means is they're not in the ACES building, because we have our own high school, middle school, elementary, autism. So we have a variety of different spectrums. So, and some of the BTs go out, are placed into like the districts themselves. So whatever New Haven, Hamden, Waterbury may have, some BTs are in there helping, doing the same line of work that I'm doing.
Okay. So are there a lot of BTs, or is it a small group of you guys?
No, it's quite a bit, because you're talking to, I don't know how many schools exactly, but it's throughout Hamden, New Haven, Waterbury, North Haven. So it's so many. So I don't have an exact number, because it's quite a bit in each building as well.
Okay, I see. So you spent over 20 years, 22 years in education.
Yes.
What pulled you into working with students and educators?
Well, it's funny because when I was younger, having my kids at a younger age, it was like, it was pretty hard, as a parent, when kids have vacation, kids on break, and it's just like, oh my God, daycare or childcare, that stuff start costing. It's like take like half of your paycheck.
Right.
And then also I started looking like, my kids be on vacation. That's pretty nice. I wouldn't mind having that type of vacation. You know? So, and then also like, listen, I get in there, then I'm on vacation with them. I don't have to pay for childcare and all that.
Right.
But once I got into it and really start making a difference, making an impact in the students' lives and making that connection, it was just like a love, like a passion that, I really enjoy doing.
Nice. Was there a moment in your career where you realized that, you know what, this is bigger than a job? I think this is my calling. Like you just said, it's your passion. Now it's turned into a passion. Was it something that clicked for you and you're like, you know what, this is me. I found it. I found what I want to do.
Yeah. So what it is when you're working with the students, me per se, you build these connections, and then you find out before you get into education, working in that field, you don't see the ins and outs of what students are really going through.
Okay.
You know what you're going through. You know what your family dynamics is like. But when you get into this field, you find out like, whoa, what I'm really going through, it's not as bad as what these kids are going through. And when you see that, it's like, wow, some of these kids, a lot of them, they really need somebody. And having that, if you have a heart and a compassion for and a love for children, you don't take that lightly. And so working with the kids and you start seeing that impact, you start seeing the change in their lives, that's, for me, it just hit like, this is huge. This is something that you don't just come in here for a 9-to-5 for a paycheck. If anybody come into education just for a paycheck, they're not gonna last.
Right.
Because you have to have a certain level, so many different levels, a level of understanding, a level of maturity. You know, you can't be one who, you have to be thick-skinned because some of these kids, like, especially when you're in high school level, and I'm at the high school now, and like I said before, I work through elementary, middle, and now I'm in high school. So that middle and high school, it's a different level.
Okay.
So you work with high school kids that'll say some things to you. If you're not built for that,
right.
you know, so.
I was looking at your videos and I was really moved. You know, so I have so many questions, you know, about the videos and stuff. But you know, you spoke a lot about students recognizing their worth. You know, how important and why do you think so many people struggle with that, with seeing their own value?
I would say sometimes it's what's being spoken.
Okay.
So we have to understand words have power. You know, and what you speak into someone's life will change the course and can change the course of their life for the future. And I don't think a lot of people really recognize that. So let's just say for a parent, for instance, you have your kid and they're acting out and you having one of those days. You start talking to your kid out of frustration and anger.
Right.
And the more you talk to them like that, the more they become what you're speaking. You don't realize that. You're planting seeds in a child's life.
Right.
And so whatever you plant, whatever seed you plant is going to grow. Here's the thing about that. The harvest is always greater than the seed. So if you're speaking so much negativity to or in a child's life, you're going to reap that.
Right.
So it's very important. And not only you, but it's going to damage them in the long run.
Right.
But now you flip it and you start speaking positive in their life. You'll start seeing a change in them and you start seeing them thrive in areas that they probably never thought themselves that they can thrive in.
Right.
And so that's why as in education, I would tell teachers, it's very important that you speak positive in these kids' lives because you don't know what they go home to.
Right.
You have a paper that may give you a backstory somewhat of what they have experienced here and there, but you don't know directly what they're going to on a daily basis.
Right, right.
And so when they come into your presence, it's up to you and I as educators to speak positive into their lives. Truth of the matter is we're with them 30 hours a week.
Right.
That's a long time.
That's a very long time.
That's a long time to be, okay, they go home, but they're not sitting with their family, their parents, mother or father, if both are in the house or one single parent, they're not sitting 30 hours with their parent like they do in a structured environment.
Right, right.
You see that?
In the core hours.
Yes.
Also, because it's usually evening, afternoon, late.
They going to sleep, they're playing on their phone, they're playing video games, they're out. So they're not spending that much time like they do, like I said, a structured setting where you really have time to like sharpen them and help shape and mold and guide them in the right direction.
So how do you connect with them? Like when you walk into a school, what makes them connect with you? Like they call you Unc now. Like why is Unc so cool? You know what I mean? Why you know, what do you see in them or they see in you that gives them that comfort zone, you know, to connect with you?
Well, that's how you greet them. So when a kid comes in, you have to look at it like this. I like to look at it like this. I don't know what they went through prior to coming into the building. I don't know what their night was. I don't know what their drive was. I have no clue. But when they come into the door, what we do, we have the wand, because some buildings have metal detectors. We have a wand, so we just search them, phones, weapons, whatever it may have you. And so when they come into with me, and I'm wanding them, the first thing I do was good. So for the guys, like, what's good? They dap me up, what's up, Unc? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then if they dress a certain way, it's like finding some ways to connect with them.
Right.
And when you do that in a positive way, that they're going to start respecting you. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, what's good? Oh, I see. Okay. I see you got the new J's on, or I see you have this on, or I'm feeling you. Okay, what's that you? Okay. And so they love that, especially at the high school level, because they want to be seen. With all the kids, but they want to be at that level, recognize me. Do you see me? And so once you do that, then I dap them up. So what that does is like oxytocin in the brain. That's the chemical, they call it the love hormone. That's the connection chemical. That's released. Once you start saying, oh, I see you, what's good. Okay, I see you. That chemical is released in the brain. That's that connection chemical.
Right.
Now, once I say I see you, automatically there's a connection that starts taking place. And you do that consistently. So I want to start off like that.
Right.
And so once we do that on a regular basis, there's a connection and a bond that's formed. Now they're on their way to class. So when they see me in the hall, if they may be struggling with an issue or whatever's going on in that moment, yo, let me talk to you.
You got that connection.
Let's go. Let's talk. What's going on? And there's no judgment.
So what do you say to the student who feels like nobody believes in them when you run across that and they're just feeling all down? You know, how do you pull that? How do you plant that seed of belief? You know, because there's a lot of kids out here that really feel that way. You know, they feel because they're not being, like you said, they're not being fed that positivity, those positive words, you know, and some of them lack self-esteem. You know, some feel like they're not good enough or they're not better than, especially now with social media, you know, where they're comparing themselves to, you know, to Johnny, you know, or Sarah or Jenny, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What do you say to that student? Like, how do you get them to understand that, you know, their worth and their value, and get them to believe in who they are, regardless of what the next student has or looks like?
Gotcha. Well, what I do is you pay attention to them. So normally you don't run into that on the first day. A student that's really down and y'all talking to that level. So what I typically do, I pay close attention to what they are good at, their successes. They don't see that in the moment when they're feeling down or they're comparing themselves. They're looking at their inadequacies. They're looking at their shortcomings, all that.
Right.
But I have to remind them what they are good at and let them know you're the best person at this. This is your niche. This is what you're good at. I've seen you do this. I remind them of what they did that they may not see in the moment because of wherever they're at that time. I just bring that back to the forefront in your mind, like, this is who you are.
Right.
And you constantly speak that over them. You're like, remember this when this happened, or remember that. If you can pull out a scenario, you just tell, remember when you did this? And everybody was amazed that when you did that. And they be like, yeah. Sometimes it take them a minute, right? So they're like, they kind of fight and struggling to come out of that. But I'm like, it's okay. You can smile about it. And they crack that smile. I'm like, that's what you good at. That's you. Right. And they're like, oh, okay, I got you, Unc. I feel you. Yeah, don't. And then remind them, you don't compare, because what you are good at, the next person may not be good at.
Right.
But that don't make you greater than or them less than. You're good in the area just like they're good in the area.
Right.
You know.
Right. Watching your video, and I watched it right before you came in again. You know, you remember when you sent it to me, I sent you back the muscle and the 100 and, you know, and the fire, because I really like that. So you use storytelling and interactive strategies, you know, when you're doing your work. Why is that important instead of just talking at the students? Like, why do you bring those in? Like, you know, you get interactive.
Okay.
And you can talk about exactly, you know, with the plant and everything.
I'm
watching
the demonstration I used.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that scenario, actually, I was talking to all the staff. This was their convocation at a school.
Okay.
So I was talking to nothing but staff members, and what I was doing there was demonstrating to all the teachers, explaining to them again how powerful their words are to the students. And you know, in school, we call it culture. Okay. The culture in this building is like this. The culture in this room is like that.
Okay.
In church settings, we call it the atmosphere.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So,
right.
So I gotta try to
set the culture, set the atmosphere.
Exactly. So I said, we call it this, but you call it that. So since we're here, this is the culture. And what I was really doing was just explaining to them. I took the seed, and I planted it into the ground. I said, so this is the atmosphere. This is where I'm putting it. Wherever I plant this seed, wherever I put this seed, wherever we take our children, if you have the right culture, the right atmosphere for that seed, and then every time you speak, you're pouring water into them. And what that does, that after a while, that seed begins to grow. I said, but you don't see those results right away.
So they keep that, actually every quarter, introduction, that reintroduction to, motivated too, because we don't know where the teachers are home themselves. It could be a broken home. It could be any place. The principal of the school, she's like, we're going to have them back. You doing that, and I wish that it was more of that being
teacher when I used to before I transitioned and did it at the same level and at the same pace. So as a teacher, this is what we talk about, the overwork. We got to figure out, how do I get this lesson to little Johnny and be effective as it is Sally, who's at level 5, but Johnny's at a level 2. But they're both in my room. They're both in my room. That takes creativeness. That takes some time. That takes creativeness. That takes some time, some effort. You don't just, okay, here's the book, here's the lesson, y'all just go do what you have to do.
Right.
You have to individually make this thing work for all your students in the room. And that to bring to your, talking about the picture, for those that know sports, basketball, that's like being the point guard. The teacher's the point guard, just like the point guard is on the court, the teacher's the point guard in the class.
Right.
The point guard gets to see everybody and help everybody do better on the court. So the point guard passes a ball a certain way that you can catch and a certain way that he can catch.
Right.
And y'all catch it different.
Right.
And y'all catch it differently and know what helps you get to the goal.
Right.
Same thing in school. The teacher's the point guard. I see how he can handle it, and I can see how she can handle it, even though it's different. So I'm able to give her the lesson different than I give him the lesson. But at the end of the day, they both got the lesson.
Right. And you knew how to deliver it. You knew how to pass the ball.
Know how to pass it.
Right. When do you know that something that you've spoken to one of the students clicked? Like when, okay, now he gets where I'm coming from. Like, is it like what happens, or that you see that's unspoken, that you like got him?
So it's crazy. What happens is I talk to the students, right? And sometimes I don't have to say a word. That's when you know you really got that connection. You just give them a look and they're just like, oh, all right, Unc, you got it, Unc. So when I'm talking to a student, what I typically do, and I just had a situation just happen the other day, and the student I wasn't in the room. So they made a call for assistance to the classroom. That's what we normally do on the walkie. And a student and when I came, the student was coming out. So I didn't even get to ask the teacher what happened. The student walking out, so I'm walking with the student. And I'm like, what's good, Neff? He said, man. So he began to tell me everything that transpired. I was like, So you said what to he says, he told me everything. He literally told the entire truth. He didn't try to sugarcoat it or try to
bend it over.
Yeah, because the teacher told me later that's exactly what happened. And it was a small thing. And so once we finished talking, and I just told him, so you said this to the teacher and you did that. I said, I get it. It wasn't a big thing from what you're saying, but you went into somebody else's stuff who gave you permission to go into it, but they weren't in the room and the teacher didn't hear it. So all it looks like to the teacher is you're going into somebody else's stuff.
Right.
You're getting smart with the teacher saying, this person let me do it, mind your business. I said, you see where you went wrong? I said, if that was your stuff and that student went in there, the teacher's going to check that student as well because that's your stuff.
Right.
And you respect the teacher for doing that. And before I could finish, he go, that's how I knew he got it. And then he repeated back. He was like, I said, so you know you was wrong for that. He's like, yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah, that's good. That's good because you're building that confidence back in him, at the same time by even you're teaching him accountability.
Yes.
And he may not know it like that, but he's being accountable for his actions. And, and that makes him feel, in my opinion, makes him feel a little bit more confident, when he's even looking at the teacher. Now he knows what he did. Even if he's playing hardball, he knows. He
Yes.
admitted it.
Yep.
You know. Now
That's
whether
true.
he'll apologize or not and say my bad, you know, you give him room to say my bad.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, BK, what you think about Steve over here? Oh, let me shout out Fran Blankenship and also Unc. The real Unc is on there. He shouted you out.
Oh, it's good, Unc.
Yeah. He I seen BK put a message up on the screen for us. BK, what you think about Mr. Capers over here? I don't want to hog up the whole interview.
No, I think it's awesome. I'm just kind of listening and enjoying. My wife was a high school teacher for 10 years. So she would come home with battle stories and stuff like that. And she got into it just because she wanted to be that person for somebody. So I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Of course.
What do you wish more parents understood about the pressure that some of the educators carry? Because you got some of the parents that are young, you know, and they're about that life. Like, you're not speaking to my son like that. I don't care what he did. Or some that's just not even paying attention. They checked out. You know, listen, that's what you do. I got him when he comes home. You know, what do parents need to understand about the pressures of educators and BTs, you know?
So I'm going to try to say this nice, possible. The reality is we don't have to do it. And it's a hard reality, but the reality is there's another job out there.
Right.
But we do it because we love it. And we want your child to succeed. And so I would tell teachers, if they're having those issues with a student, with a staff, get involved. I learned this early on in my years before I started work. Actually, I was working in education, but even prior to that, and my son, if he's watching, he would tell you, because he said it in the mic one time for my birthday, I was the problem child. This is my oldest son. Okay. I have 3 kids. He's the middle child. He's like, yeah, I was the problem child and this, that, and the other. He'd talk about it, like going through school and the trouble he would get in. Not crazy stuff. He would just do just the class clown, but he didn't realize he had a strong following. And people will follow behind him. And to this day, they're still saying certain things in middle school that he started. And my son is 30 years old. So it's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. But what helped him make it through was he had parents who were always involved with the school. And that's important because your child can succeed and will succeed further if you're involved in the school, even if they're having trouble in the school, because as you must understand that the more you give, the more effort you put in, the more effort is given. So we'll be like this, you know, where some kids may fight or some things you can get expelled for. Mm-hmm. But if you're a parent who's really connected, just in life, we work with you.
Right.
But if you're that parent, I don't care. Your child's gonna come in that way. My mom, my dad don't care. Why should I care? Right. It makes it that much harder for us in education to really get through because your child is like up against the world. And so if you get involved with your student, you get involved with the school, and then we try to come together, we're a team with you. Right. It's not just us against you or us and then it's you and your kids when he leave and that's that. No, we connect. That's what we do in our school system. Like with ACES, what we tend to do is like, hey, we reach out to the parents. We talk, how can we help you? How can we better serve you with your child? Mm-hmm. You know, we don't just, okay, well, it's 2:00 or 2:30, whatever time, and we're done.
Right.
We don't do that. And so that's very important for parents to understand. That connection, that goes a long way.
Absolutely. I agree with that with both of my children. You know, I was involved. You know, it's things that I've done, and my children are 21 years apart. So it's a difference. I have one that's going to be sweet 16. You know what I mean? And then, but the same thing, you know, when I'm involved, I know both ends. When I wasn't as involved, the things that happen. Yep. And then when I inject myself back into it,
yes,
I see the difference.
You see the difference.
Yeah, you know, and it's important too because some people don't have time, but we do have to make time, you know, because it does something for the kids. it does something, even something as little as showing up for their spring musical. You know, I just went to a spring musical, and it's not just for my daughter, but I do it for the other kids too. You know, and I shout them out. Okay, JJ, I seen that.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
it.
solo, and you know what I mean? Because they do. You know, they want to hear that, and they need stuff like that. You know
That's
what
true.
I mean?
That's so true.
What made you start? What made you start speaking, like this motivational speaker? Like, how was that birthed?
So I've been speaking, public speaking, in church
Okay.
for over 20 years. And so we'll maybe get into it more, motivation, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
My former principal, I just moved to a different location, but we're still connected.
Okay.
She called me one time while I was away on vacation, and she said, hey, the speaker that we had coming had to cancel at the last minute. Could you fill in? I'm on vacation. School start in a week. I literally had a week to prepare to speak to the staff. Now, here I am about to speak to over I think it was about 150, 200 people. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So, you know, I'm on vacation, and she just, hey, Steve, can you do this? All right, sure. No problem. Now I'm switch my whole vacation time. Not really, but I'm really just digging in. And I just did that. And from there, I was like, I like this. I didn't take it, I didn't go all in at that moment. I did what I did, and I'm still, you know, I'm going back to church, just preaching, teaching, doing things like that, setting up for ministry and all that. And then I was watching, because a couple of guys that I do follow, and Jeremy Anderson is a motivational speaker. I was following him, took a course, listened to one of his podcasts, and then he had a webinar, free webinar. So I'm checking him out, but I always enjoy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I really want to get into this. I really want to take this to another level.
Mm-hmm.
And so I reached out to a friend of mine whose daughter was the principal, and I was telling him what I want to do. He connected me with her, and from there, that's when it just was once we did that, the video that you seen, now it's
okay.
You know, now I'm really let's go. You know, well, prior to the video, prior to speaking, but just putting it together with her, that's when I was just I really got to do this. I want to do this.
So you mentioned church. Are you a preacher?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Okay. So you aside from preaching, you speak in church? Or so motivational speaker?
I never did motivational speaking in church. It's just been more of preaching.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, that's cool, Steve. You didn't tell me that. I didn't know. I didn't read that in your bio. I think that just slipped out. It didn't slip out, but I caught it. What does success look like for you after you finish speaking at a school? After you finish speaking to the crowd, to the teachers, how do you feel okay, that makes you poke your chest out and say, you know what, I did that?
It's more of
how do you know you reached you drove your point that you needed them to get?
By their response.
Okay.
And sometimes it's just sometimes it's not even, all depends too. Sometimes the message can be a little, you're stepping on toes. And that's okay for me, because at the end of the day, I want you to get it and really change or transform. Okay. So it's not going to always be comfortable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of it, I know I did my best when I deliver what I put out there and I'm done with it. And I know okay, I didn't miss it. I said what was said. I really gave it my all. I'm good. And then later on, I could hear things that I said repeated to me.
Okay.
Or you start seeing it post. And I have no clue. I might walk by you, don't even know you. You're like, hey, you such and such. You said this, this, and this.
Oh, nice.
And I'm just like, oh, okay. You did really good. Wow, you really helped me. You really helped this situation. I'm just like, oh, that's when it really started hitting me. Wow. But when I watch a video of myself, I look at that, and that just really that's more of me critiquing myself. Not in the negative, but seeing what I did wrong. What could I have said better? How could I deliver this? Make sure my presentation was welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at those things. So I don't never look at my video and be like, yeah, you did. I'm just more of, okay, how can I get better?
Okay.
What can I do to sharpen that? What can I do?
Right.
So it's more of what I see outside when I run into you in the street or in the store somewhere, and you might say something, and like I said, I don't know you, but you brought it to my attention, like I said something that really helped you or helped your child.
Right. After you after you have spoken to a crowd or whatever, has it ever been a moment where you walked away and said, "Dog, I wish I would have said this"?
Yes. Yes.
You look back in retrospect, like, "Oh man, I can't believe I didn't talk about the," you know?
Yeah, because when you're preparing, it's like you have some points that you really want to like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like this. I learned this in training. You are preparing, right? And when it's good to you, and so this is what I learned in preaching and studying. You do this to eat. You don't do this to feed, to just give to you.
Right.
I do it, and it helps me.
Right,
and if it's good to me, and it helps me grow, and it checks me, then I can give it to you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me. But for me, it's like, and when I'm doing that and I say something, I'm like, ooh, wow, that was good.
Uh-huh.
So when I deliver it to you and I don't say the point that I said to myself,
oh man,
when I leave, and I might not know right then and there, I might watch the video, or right afterwards, I sit there and go, oh, dang, I didn't drive that point home.
Yeah.
Because when I was saying this, I forgot to say this. This was the hook right here.
Right.
Then I'm like, oh man, well, next time.
Right.
So,
right. I've been in that situation where, you know, after the fact, I'm like, I can't believe I said it 1,000,000 times and I said I would say it and I didn't say it.
Yes.
Oh, you know. So what's next for Steve Capers? What are you building, expanding, and believing in God for?
Right now, I'm working on this business.
Okay.
I'm really, I have a team who's helping me really tailor it and put it together the right way.
Okay.
You know, so in the studio, putting more content together.
Okay.
And just going from there.
Okay. Where do you want to go? Like where do you see yourself going? And when you're saying putting content together, we're talking about your speaking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like where do you want to go with it?
More schools.
Okay.
Staff as well as students as well. Because I've spoken to staff more so. I've done a lot more speaking with more adults.
Okay.
So now it's like, oh, let me get into here and start speaking to the youth, because the connection that I have working with them, and you know, I'm like, man, I can do that. I would do that. Definitely want to speak directly to a crowd of teenagers.
So I was going to ask you before when we were talking about the children, well, the teacher, how you use the flower pot and planting the seeds. What do you have for a visual for students?
Sports.
Okay.
So I can use, depending. So what you do is basically, before I come to an engagement, so if you ask me to come to speak to your teens, a group of teenagers, so I want the demographic, I want to know age group, where they at. You know, is it 13 through 18? Is it 16? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it, where they at with this? Mm-hmm. And then from there, it's like, okay, if they're at this level, majority of them understand the sports. And then I can use those visual cues like that. I can use football as an analogy, you know, protecting the quarterback or running back, and understanding that, okay, you might not be the one running the ball. You might not be the one in the highlight, but you're protecting that person. And then how to relate that in school, how to, you know, with your friends. Okay, you might not be the one that they're calling on all the time, but you're the one to help the one that they're calling on all the time. Mm-hmm. You helping your friend. You see what I'm saying? So it's like using those type of analogy, or in the basketball, like I was showing you earlier with the point guard. So I use that. If the kids learn that way, if they play sports or whatever, I can go with that. Or just use a picture again, like the pot, the plant. Mm-hmm. You know, most kids know that because, you know, when you grow up, what you do for Mother's Day, you make your mom
Right.
Nice little plant, and it grow, and you bring it home in the milk carton or a little cup.
Right,
and you
right.
smiling because it done budded and it grew, and your mom like, oh, my baby. So then they remember that.
Right.
Because mom just got so excited, and then the oxytocin was released. So they remember those things. So now I could use that for my next illustration for you on you growing.
Right.
Did you grow? Did that seed grow overnight? No. Did the plant come overnight? Excuse me. No.
Right.
So don't be too hard on yourself because you're still growing. You're learning. You're maturing. Be easy. Give yourself that room to grow. And they're like, oh, I mean, like just like that plant, you're gonna be like that at some point.
Right.
As long as you stay consistent. It's like, oh, I get it.
So when you hear your name, what do you want people to remember? Like when they hear Steve Capers. What is it that you want them to walk away with and carry with them?
It might sound bland, but it's just like he was a good person. He was well respected. He's a man of good character.
Okay. Before we close, what's one message that you want to leave with every student, every teacher, and every person that's listening or that may watch it later, listening now? What do you want the student, the teacher, and just the average listener to know?
No matter what it is that you're facing in life, it will never stay the way it is. Be encouraged. Don't give up on your dream, on your goals, because it will come to pass.
Okay. I like that. BK, you hear Steve?
I hear him.
I love when I interview people and it always resonates. Something always resonates with us, with the business, with, so it's just not students. Like what you have, I mean, everybody's really a student. You know what I mean?
That's true.
It's
we're all
just
students.
if we're willing to listen and learn and take something, take a page out your book or, or an analogy that you used or whatever. So this has been good. This has been good, and I'm proud of you, and I'm happy and I hope that more people will book you. How do people find you? So if someone that's listening wanted to book you to speak to the students, there's a lot of nonprofits too. There's a lot of boys groups, a lot of female groups, just a lot of groups, period, in different pockets all over the world, not just Connecticut.
Yes.
That could really use you, to come in and just speak life into them, their students, or whichever day. What is it that you would, how would they find you? I'm sorry.
Right now, because my page is not up yet, my website, but you can definitely reach me by my phone number.
Okay.
That's 203-415-0430.
Okay.
You can reach me on Facebook, Steve Capers. You can reach me on Instagram, Steve Capers _SR, which certain things are going to be changing. Like I said, we're rebranding and all.
Okay.
But the best way would be my phone number.
Okay. Which is 203
415 0430.
0430. 415 0430, y'all. Okay?
Yes.
So Fran shouted you out. Unc said that was a good show. She said earlier that she wished you were around when she was in school. You know what I mean? And what did she say just now?
She said, I appreciate your words, Steve.
So see right there on the screen?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then we have a special shout out over here. It says, Mommy's watching, proud mother.
Oh,
that's my mother.
Oh, that's nice.
Hey, Ma.
Yeah, I'm proud of your son too, Mama.
Thanks, Ma.
Yeah, that's what's up. So yeah, I appreciate you coming. Thanks for taking the time out.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And Unc,
Thanks,
AKA
Unc, for
John,
really putting me on.
Yeah.
Opening this door for me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's important. So again, guys, if you're looking for Steve, if you want to book Steve, if there's something that he can do or you need to ask him, 203-415-0430.
Yes.
That's Steve Capers. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here.
Appreciate you.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Yep.